But so yes, so that's front page.
All right, this is the Point newspaper, and it reads, ex-vice president back to activism. Bob Ketter's alleged rape case, state urged court not to set aside its July 7th ruling. And of course, Agri Ministry to facilitate supply of 13,000 tons of fertilizer. And of course, we have legislators prepare for first extraordinary session in 2022. That's what we have on the Point.
Yes, so this is the voice. Jawara, that is former President Jawara, was not hungry for power, but hungry for restoration of the rule of law and democracy. And Gassama applauds Barrow for sending Tobaski messages to opposition leaders. And the African Development Bank approves $3.5 million for Gambia Rice Project. And also NACOF, National Organizing Committee, inaugurated. Yeah, that's all we have.
The Jawara one is interesting.
It is.
So they're saying what? That
Jawara was not hungry for power, but hungry for the restoration of the rule of law and democracy.
You know, it's interesting because if you take it from the time when they gave Gambia self-rule before independence to the time he was deposed in a coup d'etat, he was leader of this country for 30 years. He would have been 60 years if he had been hungry for power. That's a long time to be at the helm for somebody who's not hungry for power. And, you know, if he had stepped down, he's one of my heroes, so, you know, it's not, but, you know, that's contentious, I would say.
And the thing is, Mr. Ade, we also have to remember, history still is talking about the fact that Jawara did always want to say, oh, let me take a lay back seat. And then people were like,
so I wanted to say that.
People were like, we need you.
Listen,
but that's not enough excuse. Because Nelson Mandela went through the same thing. Nelson Mandela went for his stand. People said, we need you. But he said, I'm going to just step aside.
You know, you hear that all the time. You know, Paul Biya in Cameroon, 40 years. Museveni in Uganda, 42 years.
Paul Kagame.
Paul Kagame, 28, 29 years. I mean, these, you hear it all the time. Oh, the people want me to stay. You know, so what? You know, supposing you had a heart attack and died, is the country going to die with you?
No.
No, you should say a true leader. Part of it is saying, no, enough.
Standing your ground.
You know, I've done enough. I've built in a mechanism where, you know, if something happens to me, God forbid, the country will carry on and I can stand down because I've put in place.
As a
That's
leader,
more than enough time.
It's about really the fact that without you, things are going to move because
you've
established
the structures.
The reforms, the proper reforms, whatever needs.
Well, I mean, that will bring us down to the way most Gambians think, I mean, in this country. I mean, I've heard that, I mean, on several occasions, Jawara wants to step down.
I heard it.
And people will converge at State House telling him, if you step down,
what's gonna
how are we going to live in this country?
And that's how dictatorship comes.
A country without Jawara.
But isn't
so
that,
this is what they are injecting on
but,
our
leaders. But isn't
that
an indictment of you, the leader? That it has gotten to such a stage that if you step down, everything will collapse. It means you've built nothing.
True.
It means you built nothing. And that cannot be sustainable.
I think this trend is still continuing in this country.
And
it's still on. When you look at the time of former dictator Jammeh, I mean, it's the same thing.
It's the same people.
It's across Africa.
Well, it's very sad. I mean, when you elect people in office, instead they become your servants. I mean, you turn to be their servants. So that's why they try to cling on power and just sit like that. I mean, thinking, yes, I am the man. Without me, things will not move.
But the reason why this guy is talking about the fact that, fine, he was not hungry for power. Yes, he stayed for 30 years, but restoration of the rule of law and democracy will still agree with the fact that,
of course,
that did exist, even though he stayed for 30 years.
And that's why, as I said, you know, I started by saying he's one of my heroes.
Power and also hungry for the restoration of rule of law and democracy, looking at history.
Well, we cannot deny the fact that Jawara was a very fine leader. I mean, he was, well, I can say Jawara is among the best we'll have in this country.
You've only had 3.
It's just 3, so it's really,
I mean, I'm taking it from those 3.
I
don't know who you're gonna compare 9. Jawara to, whether it's going to be Adama Barrow or Yaya Jammeh. But I mean, he's among the best we have in this country.
Let's just talk about maybe achievements as in Africa and stuff. how he led, but I don't think it's fair to kind of decide between the three of them right now.
Yeah, well, because it's not that many.
Yeah.
And Barrow's only had one term, and
So
he's on his second
judge.
term. So it's early. But we talk about Jawara because you look at the esteem with which he is held across Africa. And I think that speaks a lot to the kind of person he was.
Well, one of the things that he signed, that is the Banjul Declaration.
Yeah.
I mean, he signed that.
Climate-related matters.
To protect certain things. I mean, these animals and our forest. I mean, but it's difficult. All those things have been put aside, and people are not considering these things. So these are just mere signatures now.
Yeah,
but at least we're using it as a form of reflection most of the time when things come up.
Well, yes. I mean, you know, today somebody, in fact, I circulated the. They've now put on a website for the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement. And all the protocols that you need, you can download them, and how to use it, how to apply it is all there. And in sharing it, I actually said, I hope this is not going to be yet another African initiative that looks good on paper, looks great on the shelves, but in reality, we don't put it into practice. So, you know, as you said, you know, protecting our animals, protecting our wildlife, that's been kicked into the side grass by many people. So, it's a shame. Yeah.
So President Adama Barrow, during the Tobaski, called opposition leaders, you know, so he's been applauded for actually taking his time to call opposition leaders, you know, just to send some Tobaski greetings to them.
Which is good. I mean, you know, when this came up the other day, I was discussing it with somebody, and I showed them pictures of conservative and Labour politicians in the United Kingdom at a party together, laughing and you know, exchanging glasses and, you know, touching glasses and saying cheers. And yet when you see these people an hour before in Parliament going at each other, you think they hate each other and they're going to kill each other, but they don't.
It's not personal.
It's not personal, and you know, it's political. You know, so when people say, "Oh, there's division in politics," well, there should be division, but it should be in ideology, exactly, not in, you know,
in
you
the
don't,
personal.
you don't.
And that is why we are talking about how hate speeches filters down to the citizens themselves, who get to fight each other, and it has nothing to do with the leaders.
I don't know. I mean, yesterday I saw a picture online where you have former President Yahya Jammeh, you have lawyer Ousseynou Dabo, you have Ahmad Bah. That's the photo.
Okay,
you understand? So I posted it on my status. I mean, just to tell people, I mean, I don't think it's necessary for politics to divide us. Because at the end of the time, leaders will meet and they will discuss their things. They will do their thing. I mean, so, I mean, we have to be very careful.
I used to go and give talks in schools in Sierra Leone. I used to say to them that what you tend to find when you say I'm a political activist is young men dying to keep old men in power. Yeah. And we don't need that because the people who do the fighting are not the guys who end up being, you know, the presidents, the prime ministers, or the ministers. It's the young people. And so used to say to them, resist anybody trying to get you to go and attack somebody in the name of a political party. So yes, it's a good initiative, and one that shows maturity. Yeah, shows.
I am surprised to know today Liberia is 175 years.
Yes.
Since they gained their independence.
Yes, and Liberia is it's a strange one, because we've always wondered, why does Liberia celebrate independence? Because essentially they weren't colonized by a country as such. You know, Sierra Leone, Gambia, former British. Guinea-Conakry, French. Guinea-Bissau, the Portuguese. With Liberia's case, they weren't colonized by any country. There was a kind of colonial organization that came from America that was a sort of church-based organization that effectively colonized the country. So it's from them that they got their independence. And I was discussing with our colleague Lansana Tunkara, and I was saying that in 1968, President Tubman, who ruled for 30-odd years, I think, he went to Sierra Leone on Liberia's Independence Day, and that was like, why are you not in your own country? And he was like, well, I'm there every year. Maybe just this one year I'll go and spend it in Sierra Leone. We had a military regime, and he was actually going there to kind of lend his support for the military. It was very unusual. I posted it on Facebook about a year ago, and people were like, what? He went out of his own country. At first, people didn't believe it. But, you know, I was there. I was a young person, I believe.
Well, there's something...
175 years,
I want to bring our attention to something we discussed. Was it last week? We were discussing the fact that presidents sometimes do not want to leave power because they are afraid after that there's nothing they can do.
Sure.
So that further shows how these presidents that we're referring to lack capacity. The reason is because president like Goodluck Jonathan, for instance, after he left,
and
he's
Obasanjo.
These are now mediators. You know, they have their own foundations. They have their things. So that further shows, you know, the reason why capacity is important, because after you finish, there's supposed to be always something that you can get into.
Yeah, I mean, for a lot of them, you know, you take Paul Biya in Cameroon. Cameroon's only had 2 presidents in 62 years of independence. Paul Biya, you know, if he leaves now, what's he going to do? And now he's grooming his son to take over. The same with Museveni in Uganda. You know, if you build, we keep going back to, if you build proper structures, you can move on and do other stuff, and you can be and of course, these days, if you leave a good legacy, there's even the Mo Ibrahim Prize.
Exactly.
You know, in our sub-region, 2 presidents have got it. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf in Liberia, and also the Cape Verde president, because they left office voluntarily.
And then
they end up with $5 million in your
and you have a good life, respected.
You know, that's a lot of money.
No one is going to disrespect you. Well, what's better than having your respect?
But provided, I mean, you step down peacefully. I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
Most of them miss this because they try to cling into power so much that they lose their what they're supposed to get.
Do you lose it?
I mean, if it's 5 years, step down.
Or if it's more legally, go for it. You know,
because in some countries there are term limits. In Sierra Leone, for example,
I can remember even John Kufuor of Ghana. I think he did the same thing. He stepped down. If you can remember.
Yes. Well, he'd done his 2 terms anyway. But yeah, I mean, it's
at least there's no brouhaha.
No, there's not. I mean,
you just left.
You left. I mean, you take somebody like Kwame Nkrumah.
There's no brouhaha.
You know,
even our former president Jammeh just left.
No. He could have, but he didn't.
There was a brouhaha.
There was a brouhaha. He could have just left peacefully and life goes on. You know, they're always trying to bring in little issues here and there for no reason.
I mean,
money is sweet.
No, it's not about. That's the concept that has to change.
It's about power. It's not just money. I mean,
and you know what?
Money is power.
And you know what, Mr. Ade? This power that we are talking about, you can always have it in another way. Look at Obasanjo we are talking about. Look at Goodluck Jonathan. Whatever the case, there's power. This is an individual who came in Gambia all the way from another country to come and negotiate our constitution. This is an individual training parliamentarians across Africa. And there's still power in your hands in a positive way. So power is not just about the presidency. It's about things that you can control in a positive light.
Well, you know, sadly.
And Ellen Johnson Sirleaf is doing the same as well. She's going across the world,
doing
respected and being asked to come and speak and you know, talk to people about
what's better than that.
You know, most leaders, all they see is the thing in front of them. They don't see beyond. I mean, they don't see life after presidency. All they think life after presidency is a lot of commissions, is a lot of inquiry. It's a whole
do the right thing.
Yeah, do the right thing, and then there won't be commissions of inquiry. Yeah, you know, do the right thing.
Don't wear a necktie and steal. That's just it.
There was even commission during when Jammeh took over power. I mean, we had a commission here. That's the Algali Commission.
Yeah, of course. If you listen to the speeches they made, they talked about how Jawara's regime had been corrupt. You know, which was quite ironic because I read the speech the other day.
I am surprised when people tell me Jawara's regime was corrupt. I agree. I mean, there was corruption, but compared
it's not as in Jawara. It was as in the people
compared to today. I mean. If Jawara was alive today, he would be disappointed with the level of corruption we have.
I mean, I think you were talking the other day about anti-corruption bill, which they want to turn into an act. and you know, we were talking about, you know, how effective will it be?
Yeah.
I think the reason we bang on about corruption in Africa is because so many of our countries suffer because of it. You know, it's not that there isn't corruption across the world. There is. You know, even in the UK during COVID, lots of corrupt practices were exposed.
Exactly.
Which involved, in some cases, you know, parliamentarians making sure, ministers making sure companies that were linked to some of their relatives got contracts for all sorts of COVID-related products, and that was exposed. Also, most famously or infamously, it was found out that for years politicians had been abusing the expenses system. So, for example, you get expenses if you rent a flat, if you hire a car, and so on. People weren't renting a flat; they owned it. They weren't renting a car and so on. For years, I mean, it ran into millions that British MPs were exposed. Nobody knew. Somebody who worked in the expenses office got fed up and leaked it to the Daily Telegraph. That's good. And then it destroyed some MPs. They had to leave, and some of them had to pay back the money. Yeah, you have some of them went this close to ending up in jail.
And that is the beautiful part of these commissions, because if you take a look at Sierra Leone, the amount of money they're able to recover, $2.8 million, you know, even cars, you know, and winning 90% of most of their court cases. So, and this is just one commissioner that we're talking about. Well, so we're having, if the bill is an act eventually, the suggestion is to have 3 commissioners, just to ensure there's some sort of independence. If something fraudulent happens, somebody can raise a red flag.
Well, I mean, you used the Sierra Leone one last year. It went so far as to summon the ex-president. And as by Koroma, he had to come to the commission. At first, he was kind of the ex-president. How dare you? You know, you come and see me. And they said, no, you were there when the law was passed. And it says you have to come to us because we've summoned you. And he had. You know, he was talking about, oh, you know, and people would say, oh, it's an embarrassment. What's the point of it? If it can't investigate all the way up to the top, then it's pointless.
But another criticism currently on Ben Kaifala is the fact that it's just only one commissioner, and then they're talking about the fact that he's running after other things and putting the presidency aside as well. That's why yesterday I was asking Mar, I forgot to even do that research.
I saw you,
Yeah, I'm supposed to do that the moment I leave here, to find out if his appointment was through the parliament or it was through the public service, through the president.
It's through the public service. I mean, it's an independent commission. It's an independent commission. So the president cannot sack him. The president cannot sack the commissioner in Sierra Leone. That's an impossibility. So it is fully independent. And also, from when the commission was formed to where it is now in Sierra Leone, initially they had to refer to the Attorney General. Now they can investigate and they can prosecute without referring at all to the Attorney General. So it has a lot more power, which is why they were able to call the ex-president. You know, so it's the very president who appointed them. you know, so yeah.
So hopefully when Madadio also, you know, does something that is not in line with
policies. No, Ben Kaifala is getting criticized because there's a press called Africanist Press, which has exposed a lot of alleged corruption of the current president.
Yes, that's what
and they're saying Ben is not going after him.
And going after other things.
So yeah.
That's why I was asking if the thing went through the parliament, but you're talking about the fact that even though the president cannot sack him. Then.
Cannot.
Okay, So the NACOF, National Organizing Committee, has been inaugurated. So the NACOF is actually, you know, a gathering of young people where young people come together, you know, and, you know, have meaningful conversations. And it's because of the COVID-19, it could not happen, I think, 2 years ago, but now they're actually working on it now.
So they come together to talk about what exactly?
Well, issues affecting young people and the way forward. I've never attended one anyway.
Why not?
Because when I don't know, I think when I started, NACOF hasn't happened past 5 years.
You should have asked them, why not?
And because of the COVID-19, and also it comes by annually, and then it was supposed to come, COVID came 2 years, and now, so which altogether it's like 5 years.
Okay, and so where are they meeting exactly? Do we know?
So it's supposed to be in Banjul.
Okay.
Yeah, because normally they have they target different regions.
Okay.
Yeah, but actually I'm not aware yet of what plans they have and what they'll be doing.
I mean, it's important for young people to gather. I mean, all the time. But
have you ever attended NACOF before?
I've never attended NACOF. I mean, there are a lot of activities. There are a lot of events, yearly events. I mean, NACOF. We have one called Safra in Basse, you know, where we do exchange visits, you know, with other countries to share ideas. Okay. We do all that. But at the end of the time, what benefit are we going to gain from this?
I was going to ask.
Let it not
similar question.
Not for me to answer.
Let it not only be a time where youths will gather, party, you know, conferences and talk about certain things. From there, everything is gone. Which
touches on the question I was going to ask. You know, once they've had this talk, this convocation, this meeting,
they come up with resolutions.
And what happens
and
to
these
those?
resolutions are supposed to be sent to the president for the president to
what
further
happened
implement
to
them.
previous resolutions?
Well, I've asked that question several times and I do not get the answers I need.
Well, I think we should
have to find out.
We should gate crash.
Is the biggest program in the Gambia, so we need to know.
It is, and you know, you can't.
Okay, guys. Stop
you know,
that's
because
a task for
you. Stop that.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Bigger than Weltare.
Bigger than Weltare. Bigger than even QTV News.
No, I believe. No, youth dialogue. It's big. It's amazing. It's
okay. Now you're making. Stop that.
You're making her blush.
You're making me blush. Like whatever.
But
before we leave, our next guest, interesting, okay? Project 21, you know, she's 21 years old. And
I said Project 26. Can you imagine?
Project 21, trying to use, you know...
Put 5 years on her age.
Wow.
5 years on her age. You know, young people, most of the time, when they're approaching a certain age, it's about celebrating the birthday and being excited about the age. But it's about what do you plan to do within that age. So I'm excited about this particular topic. And before we leave, we have 2 birthdays today. Sheikh Jan Sise and Aduboy. It's their birthday today.
Oh,
so we're sending you guys some love.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday
to them.
Happy birthday.
Sheikh Jan, QTV's cameraman, top cameraman.
Wow. We'll go for a short break, and when we come back, the conversation continues. Thank you so much, Mr. Ade.
Pleasure, always.
Light. From the beginning of time, light has been there.
It is integral to our survival and to our way of living.
We need light to work,
to build,
to grow things, and even to see our loved ones.
Light makes things easier and better.
So QCell has changed the way you buy Q-Power to make it easier and more accessible.
You can now access the same service quickly and get your cash power tokens instantly with the new QCell Q-Power code.
To light up your world, simply dial *363#.
With a touch of your fingers,
with ease and convenience from the comfort of your home or office,
you can bring light into your world instantly with *363#.
Q-Power, lighting your world.
QCell Sunyabus.
We innovate, others follow.
Save up to 50% energy with the new side-by-side Samsung refrigerator. Samsung air conditioners come with HD filter and antibacterial for your protection. Save time, energy, and effort by using our washing machines, loaded with innovative features that offer superior cleaning technology. Step into the future of television with our slick and slim Samsung Smart TV designs. Sizes range from 32 to 85 inches. Smart LED, Crystal UHD Ultra High Definition, and QLED Quantum Dark LED. Get new ways of interacting with your TV. Unparalleled vision, right from the comfort of your living room. Our products are backed with 1-year warranty. Visit us at QCell Building at Caraba Avenue or at Boosterby Turntable. Contact us on 333-3217 or email us at info@quantumnet.gm.
Welcome back from that short break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV this morning, and now we are on to our community watch. Do you want to introduce our guest?
Well, I want to avoid doing the thing that
so we're
said
joined
we
by
should not
Loka
do.
Silvia Gomez. Thank you so much for joining us. Bottom Project 21. Actually, this caught my attention because I saw how much, you know, it's all over social media. People are celebrating it because, like I said, when you are approaching a certain age, it's all about the birthday, the dress, the photo shoot, this and that. But you were concerned about, you know, what that age can make you give. So how did this idea come about?
Well, I celebrate my birthdays different.
Okay.
Basically, you're talking about the dress, the party. Yes, it's part of it.
It is, but
I would always celebrate my birthday with a very nice dress and all.
Yeah.
But I always ask myself, what exactly would I give? Because if I am celebrating this age, and next year I'm thanking God that I've lived another year, then I should be able to impact more lives. And so I designed Project 21 last year, October, because my birthday is on November 1st. And I had a list of activities to do. So it's all about impacting lives throughout the whole 21st age.
Yeah.
I don't write my New Year resolutions. My resolutions come with my birthday. So it's always when I'm 21, I have to achieve this. When I'm 22, I have to do this. So 21 comes with a lot of activities, and that's Project 21.
Interesting.
Amazing.
So Lauka, can you take us through? I
Did
mean,
you say Lanka?
no, I just said Lauka.
It's Loka.
Lauka. Oh, my bad, my bad, my bad.
I thought I heard Lanka.
Okay, can you tell us, I mean, the process of impacting lives? I mean, I understand you are interested in empowering young people. Can you take us through the process and some of the activities that you're doing?
So Project 21, it's a 12 months project from November 1st to 31st October this year. And the whole of November I was busy learning and also engaging people in my contact list. So I had discussions on my status, ranging from menstrual hygiene, discussing with people on my status what they feel, how the cramps are like. And because I have contacts of nurses and doctors, when they ask questions and I screenshot and post it again, they get the answers. So it's always like a discussion sort of, and people don't really know who is asking the question or who is answering the question. So it's like a safe space as well.
Sure.
And I had school tours. Let me just say it's a school tour because I had discussions with a friend of mine. We went to schools, a presentation, St. Joseph's. We were discussing around menstruation, menstrual health, and how young girls can take care of themselves. So in December, I had, I don't want to use the word, but it looks like it. I tried to convince few people, 21 people, who I thought had a lot of dresses, to give me at least a dress. So I had 21 dresses, and I gave to 21 people. But because I grew up in the culture wherein when you're given, you don't really have to show the person that you're given. So it was only after that the team that I went with were posting that we delivered 21 dresses, that people were asking me, so you really delivered 21 dresses? So it's because I went with few people who were really excited about it that people knew about it. And
I also saw the pad drive.
The pad drive. The pad drive was done in March or so. I had this drive. I had to really convince people that a particular community, so pads are really expensive in the country, and it's something else. So I had to gather funds and sanitary pads, took them to Dasilami Upper Basic School, not just deliver the pads, but we had discussions with them, and we encouraged the males as well. Even the vice principal was like, do you really think we should be here? I was like, if a student comes to you and says, I need a pad, do you know what a pad is? Do you know how to fix it? So you really need to sit and listen, let's have a conversation. It was really impactful. It was something I really want to do again and again, because everyone was asking questions. We debunked a lot of myths, and the boys especially, they were asking a lot of questions. if you see menstrual blood, you would die. If you see this, you would do this.
Yeah.
So it was a whole lengthy conversation, and then we ended up
And it was
delivering the pads.
You know, I'm interested when it comes to the menstrual pads. I mean, we grew up in a society where you don't talk about these things. I mean, that's how we were brought up.
Yes.
I mean, anything that has to do with women, it's for women. Sometimes it's difficult. Even if you buy a pad, you have to hide it, you know, to bring it to your house. Are you thinking of involving men, I mean boys, I mean, to be part of this?
Of course.
Tomorrow boys will grow. They will have wives. They'll have children.
Well, yeah. If you see the pad drive, the ones that were actually delivering the pads to the ladies were men.
Good.
They were all boys. So you see the boys were actually giving out the pads, and you would see the boys were around the conversation. They were asking questions, and at the end, we did not just give the girls the pads. We gave each boy a packet. And I always tell people this: the pads are already packaged. So when I go to the shop, you don't need to hide. I'm not hiding the pad. So if every lady has to hide that she is menstruating, then every lady has to hide that she is giving birth. We don't need to celebrate naming ceremonies anymore.
Yeah.
Because if somebody is not menstruating, the
the
person...
person...
So if you want me to hide that pad, then make sure that when you have a child in your house, also hide it.
Yeah, it's
That
that
is
simple.
it. So
period.
Basically, every man has to know about this. If you don't know about this, you should be shy to say, I don't know anything about menstruation. It's like saying, I know nothing about life. So it's not something people should brag about. Oh, it's menstruation, it's a girl's topic. Immediately you say that, I'm like, oh, okay. Then you don't really deserve to be here.
Yeah.
Because it's through menstruation that you're here, alive.
Well, I don't think the way people take these things should be difficult. I mean, it's a normal thing.
Yes,
but
so
I mean, I think gradually we are coming up as far as, you know, our generation.
Yeah,
we
the
are,
changes
you know,
are there. But again, I saw you kind of shift your attention to arts, creative arts. Why? Why the need?
It was a whole 21 days training, and we had this interaction with different youths that are doing well in the country, from, you know, activism work to health topics. We had a whole 21 days training. I mean, nobody should ask me why 21.
Yeah, again.
Yes, so it was a whole intensive training. And the last day, I thought it was really, really important that we do creativity and arts, because most times in the country, everyone thinks arts is just for people that are not really smart. Also, but it's a way of expressing yourself. And it's a way of me knowing how impactful the training was. Because when they were drawing, the facilitator asked them to paint something in line with what you've been taught.
Oh,
so it's like we had 21 different paintings, and each one would explain,
trying to portray,
oh, this was the climate change session, you know, when we did this, and this is what I was actually thinking of. Somebody else will say this is the peace building session. Someone else would say this is the cancer talk, this is this. And these are all topics that we were discussing throughout the 21 days. And
so where did the money come from?
Self-funded.
Self-funded. Interesting.
Yeah.
Project 21 must be having a lot of money, huh?
Well, no.
Self-funded. No, sorry to disappoint you. Self-funded.
So basically, it's like people don't really get they can't really understand why Project 21. People don't really understand the need to invest in other young people. The people that came to the training, some of them are older than me. And it's because they really are interested in learning. That is why they came. But for other people, it's like, how do we really help? They don't really know how to help.
Right.
And I'm not going to sit down and wait for you to delay my plans. Like I said, it's a whole 12 months. So if you really promise that you're going to help, yes, I would accept the help. But it has to be within whatever I am doing.
And you need to
someone really came and said, okay, I will sponsor you if you do A, B, and C. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
It's not part of my project.
Yeah.
I don't work like that.
Yeah.
So it's, in as much as people want to encourage youths to do certain things, you should understand that I did not come to you to design the Project 21.
Yeah, you already
I
have a
designed
design
it
and
because I had certain goals to meet. So
and you stood your ground.
yeah, so whenever somebody wants to help, you would have to help within what the project is offering.
Interesting.
I really appreciate it when people come up with ideas and say, look, can we do this? But again, you cannot say you're just 21. You don't know what you're doing. Because basically, if anybody tells me that I go like, what did you do when you were 21?
What? Girl, I asked the same question. Don't listen to them. When they say that, you're like, when you were my age, where were you?
Exactly.
What were you doing?
So it's
Good
like
question,
a
good
lot
answer.
of people want to help, but they don't really understand
Yeah.
it. And others really knew about it when it was fading.
I know.
But we have a lot of activities that are coming, so people can still help.
People can still help. You know, you have my support as well.
yes,
Ibrahim is here.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
we are
you have
always
our
available.
support. You know, let us know
Yeah.
in whatever way. This is obviously one way.
This is one.
Yeah, and we are looking forward to other ways that we can also support Project 21. And thank you so much for starting this. You know, this is the first time I'm hearing something like this. I'm now motivated. My birthday is in September, so maybe I also have to look for something meaningful
Yeah.
to do aside from
Exactly.
dressing up to party and do something. We do.
The party is important.
It is important,
The
but
dressing
it's
up is
about,
fine.
you know, what, fine, we do give out every single day,
Yes.
but it's about having
Well, I
something
mean, I think,
structured.
Janaba, I mean, the trend will soon change. I mean, you remember on this platform we discussed how people think in this country.
Yeah.
If the youths are thinking this way,
Then
I
we're
mean,
good to go.
I know in few years, I mean, we will change the way,
Yeah.
we will change the narrative.
And Loka, before you go, I want to engage you on something. I want us to talk about your hair a little bit. You know, interesting. You know, sometimes in Gambia here, I see confidence in your eyes as I look at you right now, because to have to leave your hair like this, it's about confidence, because we all know how patriarchal the society can
society
be
is,
and how
yeah.
people can always point fingers when you have hair like this. So, you know, how do you maintain the confidence? I see a lot of it.
I've been cutting my hair since 2009.
Okay.
And that just shows you, I cut my hair because
Okay.
my dad sent me to get him a shaving stick from the room, and I decided to remove it the first. So he just said, just remove everything, and then later on you can braid. But I said, no, I'm not braiding.
Okay.
And I was 9. So if I am 9 and I can tell my dad that I'm not braiding, I'm cutting my hair, I don't see somebody in the street telling me you have to braid.
Yeah.
So it's the society. Every little place, by the way, I'm Gambian. I was born in Gambia. I know the constitution still will say I'm not, but my parents are Gambians. That makes me Gambian. And I've been in Gambia. So everywhere I go, even to get my national documents, because of this look, I'm
call you
called
a Nigerian.
Nigerian.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
yeah.
because of my long name, which is hard to pronounce,
Yeah.
I'm called Nigerian.
Okay.
Yeah.
But basically, it's about me, what I'm comfortable in, and what I want to do. So when I go to a society and the persons and the people say that, oh, you're not welcome because of your haircut, I will leave. I would respect that. But when it comes to certain issues, my haircut does not determine the amount of knowledge I have. My haircut does not mean that I am loose, because that's how society sees it. And my haircut does not really mean that I am worthless, that I don't know what I'm doing. In other societies, when somebody shaves their hair, it's because they are focused, they are working in certain things, and they don't really have the time to take care of their
We
hair.
see it in Ghana,
Yeah,
in
but
other countries.
I love this haircut, and this is not even the lowest I've bought my hair, and I think I'll keep doing it because
That's what you feel comfortable.
I'm comfortable with it. So if you're not comfortable, then you can look at someone else with long hair or so.
Ken momut buti ken.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fi ken momut fi bud nga warala sa bud.
Yeah.
You book fene.
So I meet with somebody and they say, why did you cut your hair? I want to cut my hair.
Exactly.
I like it this way. Didn't your parents see it? I live with them. So again, I want my hair like this. And they're respecting that. If you cannot respect that, I'll walk past. Because like I said, if I have Project 21 to settle, I still don't have the time to talk about my haircut and why. If you want to convince me, fine, I'll listen to you. But I will still tell you thank you and go back my hair. So it's a haircut. It's just a haircut.
Yeah. So how do you deal with social media, you know?
Well, it's hectic, but I think social media is now used to the radical me, where you would point out, some people will still call me Nigerian, and when the country is sideways, I go like, oh, I am fully Nigerian today because this country is giving me headache.
Yeah.
And I just see it as people would have to learn to appreciate other people. And the fact that I am not wearing pink like Jaina, but does not mean that I do not appreciate pink. So I see somebody with a long hair, I will still say, oh, your hair looks beautiful. I would expect the same, even though I know I look beautiful. I am beautiful.
No, you're nice. Eh, why, you're nice. Why? You're somebody. This is somebody. This is not very
How did you know I was looking at her eyes?
Yo, yeah, but
I was looking. Listen,
why?
I was looking at her.
Your eyes
like
are
this.
one of your eyes are so beautiful. So you all of them, funga proof ne all of them.
That's it. Ku nekk daf dee xalaat ne dégguma olof.
Wow.
So even suma dee training yi sax dañ dee ne suma laakee yéene dañ dee ne kon yow dégg nga olof.
Mbaa duñ la dee jow.
Dañ dee jow obviously. So dama dee bàyyi most times su ma demee place dama dee noppi ma laaka English laaka angale ba su ñoo jeexal ma ne waa jërëjëf xam nga lii moom tey naa fi nekk géwél bi ñaan naa leen. And you see everybody goes like
ñëpp shock.
What is this Nigerian doing?
Kii lu moo def nii.
Nigerian.
Anyway, why that's it. Ku nekk dafa war a understand. Even sa doom sax su bëggee dog ko waram bi nekkul ne dafa loose dafa bugg a bon moo taxit. Xam nga nit ñi dañ dee ñëw ñu like different things. Holiday su jotee kii daf dee letu mèche. Kële mu ne dafa teg. Kële def persi boppam bi kële def léegi ku bëgg a dog ko waram bàyyi ko mu dog ko waram.
You know what I did last week? I bobbed my daughter's hair. You see? I cut her hair like. When I saw her hair, I was like, look at Jari.
Why in Ghana and in other countries, it's a sense of focus.
Yeah, it's like xale yu dem school dañ war a identify guy and this is it.
Dama believe ne dafa noppal. At the same time soo gisee ñu bëri ñu ngee daw. Tey jii dafa dem jël sovo bi fële. Dafa jël Brazilian hair.
Wax ko ñaata lañ dee charge.
Loolu yëpp coono la. Xam nga so sometimes.
Man sa dama daan dog
dafa
important. At some point, right?
Well, I think I've seen
I
that.
got a lot of societal. To be honest, when I started doing it, the pressure buma am from the humanity is just too much. I got a lot of pressure. Bulldog sa kawabi. So after at some point, it's not like digger na bopa enough for withstand no. But I was just, you know, at some point I just let it go and just allow it to go.
I don't look at a person because danga doctor hair or danga lead. I don't. What is important is what is coming out of you. Xam nga man luma wax jena mané man nit suma la xolé bu ba dama dé déglu ba nga wax when you talk dama dé xam yow ban façon nit nga understand so I think that is more important why society don't behave like that.
Nit ku am 21 years time bobu non nit yu am 21 years dañ leen di pousser bor man dunda na ko understand nga man dunda na lolu nekkon na fi 21 years amul luma dundut uyuma amul lu ma déggut amul luñ ma waxut pousse ma def ma lu ne yow xale nga xamuloo dara amuloo experience waaye gis nga ñun suñ génération ñooy ñan ñuy ñëw little experience ñu wax suñ talent comme luñ juddoo xam nga nit nga juddu rek nekk ci yàlla loolu la dogal ñu nangu ko nag nangul ko ku mel nii nga xam ne 21 years am juddu nekkul ne dañ war a instill dara si moom de yàlla ko jox talent ne ko demal
loolu tam prevented la te seet mag dafa baa si kër always there should be an elder bi nga xam ne dafa nekk side by side because ñun xam nga ñun suñ society bi noonu lañ juddoo dañ am suñ parents yi bi nga xam ne tam waruñoo jom lu gaay di wax although nekkul ne lu gaay wax rek tam dañ war a seet waaye ba léegi mag dafa baasi kër
du dee nekk parents yi laa explain
mun nga am mentor loolu moo tax nit ñi de am mentor
correct
fii ñëpp am mentor sax
it's not even about age because mun nga am mentor koo xamante ne moo la mag waaye as far as kooku moo la ëpp experience looy def
loolu rek la
mun ngaa jàngee si kooku loolu moo tax su ma dee def dara dangaa gis ne dama nekk di laajte even training bi sax most of the topics yu fa nekkoon I had little experience waaye dama dee ut yeneen ndaw yoo xamante ne
dinañ la doole
kii moo nekk di def peace building na nga yow ñëwal nga def peace te dinaa toog ak participants yi yëpp ma jàng ak gaay because man tam dama leen doon won ne benn nit even su nekkee da nga xam lépp sax mënuloo xam everything
no man is
so
an
keneen
island
su nekkee da nga taxaw di wax every day wax daf dee soof nit ki man su ma taxawee su nekkoon ne yow kenn yaa nekk des a show bi every single time yow sa boppa daf laa soof and people would not tend to learn because dañoo ne moom moo fa nekk waaye because yaa ngi indi different nit yow di nga jàng kooku dina jàng pare ñeneen dinañ jàng dem naa fi place gaa ñu ne ok dem naa benn school pour joxe and the principal bi daf ma xool mu ne ma ne what do you think we can learn
because 21 nga am
bu ma pare yeneen schools yi around and students ami dem ne ko ok dañ bëggoon loo mu ñëw def A B and C mu send ma invite ma ne ko non dama xaar ba ma am 25 then ma ñëw so after students yi ñu ne ma ne no it's not moom mooy jàng ñun ñooy jàng so at the end am ko ne it will now have to be my own timing because man dam dafa am
dang ma reject on because of my age
so it's like then we need to be really careful. You're seeing one 21-year-old. I have other people in your Hamilton, they're 18, 17, and they want to make a difference. You have to be there to say, this is it. Male guys space be pour you bloom and then learn. Because out of all these sessions, they make mistakes. Sometimes they rectify. And this is how they will learn and then develop.
Absolutely. It's a problem. You know, Limo explain me at the age of 21, Koku George nako already ne game nyambe munu fa game something. And you know, personally, she's explaining this, and it's like she's talking on my behalf because dunda nako whereby the man no pill or togal dañ la tuutil wa togal li do ko meuna def nopil conversation bi do ko meuna am
society bu amut understanding la nit kuy def lolu even sa dom ci kër bi dang ko wara déglu sa dom sa sen family bi sa dom bi amna mom tam kaddu sometimes dang ko wara déglu because amna luy joggé ci mom ding ci jangé you know it's very important.
That is why we have a national children's
it's important gis nga comme xalé yo comme yeen ñu ñone ay xalé ni yeen dañ leen war a déglu bu baax because yéen yaa leen gën a open to xam nga this new way of life technology bi fële yaa leen day gën a déglu so ñun
waaye agaaguñ foofu de fu ñoo mayee noonu agaaguñ fa
waaye gradually
you have to push
waaw yow yaay puusal sa boppa because sometimes they feel like yow because you're loud ak da nga am kaddu pour wax déedéet yow waruloo wax ñoom nga war a déglu you have to listen to them first sometimes ñu bëli la sànna la parce que dégluwuloo ma moo tax amuloo lii I've been through that.
There was society Gambia nu dee yare xale is wrong because dañ dee ne xale bu noppi tuuti dafa teey dafa teey is different from somebody ku war a expose xale dañ leen war a bàyyi ñu free within the house pour nga mun a xam capabilities of xale moo tax nga dee am xale boo dafa noppi si kër bi nga dem si school bi ñu ne la def na fa lii ak lii ak lii because foofu mu ngi free teacher ba nga ko observe so su nekkee da nga ko timide loo si biir kër bi wanewut boppam ëllëg ak si biir su defee dara si biti da ngaa wéedi fekk moom moo ko def so xale bi foog mu free nga jàngal ko ok su defee erreur tey nga wax ko ne déedéet lii nga waroon a def nekkut li waaye soo ko buggee strict loo ne this is what you have to do by force kon doo musa xam xale bi lan la mun a def ak lan la mun ta def
amul fen Anyway, interesting conversation. Thank you so much for coming on the program. And, you know, you have our support. Looking forward to, you know, any project that we can volunteer on, you know, and how much we will be able to help. We are more than willing, you know, so happy about, you know, the confidence that you have. You're actually even motivating me right now, you know, to put up, to ensure that I, you know, get to boost my confidence more. Nice. Thank you so much. The Gambian la nak bala len ñu rek Nigerian Gambian la judo fi yaro fi magge fi demé fi school gis ngeen all of you sa di mo lak jeex na tak. So till we come your way, Ibrahima, are you okay?
Yes,
are you fine?
I am okay.
You are? Okay.
I am motivated.
All right. So till we come your way tomorrow with another interesting program. Bye-bye.